Evening traders, and welcome to Prime FX evening call. Today being the 17th of September 2019. We've had a brilliant day in the market, caught up to 400 pips in the market this morning and this afternoon as well. But today we are going to be concentrating on the data that's going to be coming out tomorrow. We've got some good data coming out for Great Britain pound, Canadian dollar, USD, crude oil, again USD, FOMC data, and then at 11:45 the final data should be for New Zealand dollar GDP. I know some of you that just sounds hella gibberish. I'm gonna be real with you, it used to sound hella gibberish, but keep listening and you will learn. So Great Britain pound consumer price index, CPI. If price action comes in higher than data, so forecast at 1.8. If it comes in anywhere near its previous 2.1, we can expect volatility in GBP pairs to the upside. Same here, PPI input. If we get price action to be higher than, data to be higher than minus 0.4, which I think it will be, then we could expect volatility to the upside for pound again. We have got some really good trades. We are up over 100 pips. Just hold that trade, take about 75% off the table and let the trade rise as we can expect the new highs to be formed. I do believe we may see a retracement up to 60 to 70 pips during the Asian session. And if that happens during the Asian session, that we do get a pullback, we are going to take another long trade if data comes out positive. As you saw today, optimism still looms around pound. So with that being said, we are going to buy every dip and we are going to take full advantage of these 100 pips, 100 pip trades. You got to understand that the Bank of England is pumping as much money as possible into pound so that they can drive it to a high price, just in case that they'll get a negative data. Just in case they get a no deal Brexit. If pound falls, the damage isn't as significant. It's market manipulation 101. Okay, so it's very crucial to understand this. Moving on. With Canadian CPI, we have entered a trade called in GBP CAD, and we are over 150 pips in profit. But what you got to take into consideration is tomorrow, after the CPI, if it does come out positive, we are going to see a drive up for a new high, and that may be just the final leg before the CPI comes in, and we could potentially short it if the data is extremely positive. So that's something that we're going to be looking at as well. Then we're going to be looking at crude oil at 3:30, and then at 7 o'clock we've got the FOMC and federal rates. We're not looking to trade this apart from gold if we do see some really good movements, price action. But I am looking at gold, trying to take a trade prior to any of the data, so about London session. So let's get to the charts and smash through these technicals. So we're starting with on a weekly time frame on crude oil. Okay. So weekly time frame, that we can see that price action at the moment had come to an area of resistance, wicked, and is rejected. At the moment, again, we've got an entire area here that we're highlighting. We've got an entire area here where we've got support. Look left, resistance, and price action is at the moment sustaining above the 58 level. Go into the daily time frame. We can see what price action is trying to do. It's trying to respect this area of resistance where previously it was. Now it's turning to a support. Going down to the 4 hour, what can you see? We've had that gap, okay? Where we had the gap in the market, we've closed it now, the entire pullback. So once that we had that gap, we've closed it. So now I'm waiting to see what price action is willing to do now. Is it going to keep pressing lower? Okay, are we going to press as low as bottom of the zone? Sorry, bear with me. Are we going to press lower? Or are we going to tap into this area and push higher? We had a nice channel down here that price action was respecting. Okay, as you can see, we've broken back into the channel. Are we going to fully break back into the channel and come back into this range? If so, that could happen, and then what we could see is crude oil inventories data is going to come in obviously negative. Then could we see a pump in the market? It's the market's waiting for data of the crude oil because they want to know how significant the oil supply damage is. Because at the moment, if you look back at data, last week alone, we saw that crude oil inventory supply was minus 6.9 million. Okay, at the moment, the forecast has it just to be minus 2.1. If that's the case, we will see oil drop as supply is not great. As demand isn't great, because when demand is high, we're going to see price push up. When demand is low, price pushes down. So with data being minus, say something 1.1 million, it's going to be obviously negative for oil, and we are going to see oil push lower. But if we see minus 10 million or minus 12 or 15 or 16 million, we are going to be buying oil, because that means there's no supply whatsoever. Okay, when there's no supply, so therefore the demand increases. With that being said, we are watching oil at this channel right now. Moving on, we've got Euro USD, which we are still watching, because price action has come to an area of resistance right now, which is why I'm saying take some partial profits of that 70 pip trade profit that we're currently in. I am favouring price action to still push higher, because you have to take into consideration that the FOMC data has already been priced in. So when it's been priced in, the markets react to it. So we know that dollar weakness should be showing all tomorrow. We can already see price action pushing to the downside. I did say this morning that this inverted head and shoulder could come into play, which is at the moment coming into play. We have got a 4-hour support over here. If you look at this region, let me get rid of this. If you look at this region, you could pull it as low as here, and you can see that we've got a nice 4-hour support as price action coming down into this level before pushing higher. Or is price action going to break this entire trend and use the 97.70, where previously was an area of resistance? Can we turn it into support before FOMC data comes out? And then can we see the bulls come in and push price higher? Because what you got to understand is this. Who remembers what happened to us on the ECB data? Okay, ECB data, that day we saw that euro spiked up, okay, because rates were kept to the same. And then the monetary policy came out, and then it spiked back down. However, when listening to the monetary policy, they said that they was going to put a stimulus package to help the Eurozone reach its targets of inflation. And then when we saw that, you saw the spike in euro to the upside, because it was a positive thing that was going to happen to the Eurozone. So that could happen tomorrow. We could see a 25 basis point cut, and we could see dollar quickly drop, and then gold rally to the upside of 100 to 200 pip. And then all of a sudden, as the monetary policy comes out, because you've got to take into consideration, look, 7 o'clock is when the rates and all the data comes out. There's half an hour difference between that and the press conference. So we could potentially see gold within that period of time rally to the upside for a potential 100, 200 pip. So all the way back up to 15, about 500 pip, we could get moved to the upside. And we can come back to 15.56, and price action can just hover around that region, create a double top before they actually come out with a very hawkish tone of voice in the market about how they're going to stimulate the economy, how they're going to change the unemployment rate, how they're going to control this consumer spending, etc. So they could come out with some really, really good stimulus packages as well, and therefore we could see the euro strength increase, and then we could see gold drop from these highs and quickly come back down to all the way 1480, 1450 region, which is what I'm thinking. So we can expect huge volatility in the market tomorrow. We're going to see moves that are going to take out people's accounts. So what I want to be doing is I want to be in a trade beforehand and have our trades at stop and break even, so that if anything occurs, we're covered at all times. So looking at gold, as I said to you guys today, let's not trade gold or even talk about it, because all it did was range. It ranged in this region, which I highlighted in the morning, and I did say this happens just before a big fundamental. It does look to me that it wants to come lower to create a double bottom. If it does create a double bottom at this area in 1496 and 1495, we can see a push higher. I do want to see a break of 1550. It's the neckline of this inverted head and shoulder. You see the head, you see the shoulder, this is the shoulder, and this is the entire neckline here, right here. If we can get a break of this, where we've got potential resistance, if we can get a break, then we know that price action wants to go higher. We've also got this trend line right here that price action is also respecting. But I do believe that price action is going to hold at this region, and we could see tomorrow morning a nice long trade. I am going to be watching this. It's on my watch list. I am going to be waking up in the morning about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, keeping a close eye on this. Signal can be posted anywhere between 6 till 10 o'clock, so keep your eye on that. So if I can get in an early trade on this, I am looking for a potential pushback up to 15.24 before fundamentals. That's my first target. And if I can get higher, if with rate cuts, then I want to see 1556 get hit. So we could be looking for a big move in gold tomorrow, huge move. Okay, moving on. USD Swiss franc, another one we've been looking at recently. Price action has created that double top, but it's extended. But what you got here on a 4 hours look? You've got that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 pins, 1, 2, 3. Morning star with a bearish engulfing to the downside. So that 1, 2, 3. Sorry, not morning star, evening star. Morning's at the bottom. This is 1, 2, 3 morning, evening 1, 2, 3 to the downside. So we've got that evening star formation with a bearish engulfing to the downside. I do always say that once you get at 1, 2, 3, we get one more of a pullback. So what I do expect is one final push back up to at least 0.99700 before taking a short trade on this tomorrow. We can see USD weakness early in the mornings, and we are going to take full advantage of that. I do favor price action coming back to 0.98, so I am looking for a trade around from these regions here, back down to this area, with stops just being above this entire area here. Stops just being just above here, which is perfect. Risk a little, 46 pips to potentially take home 200 pips on this tomorrow. Got my eye on this, got my eye on gold. Gold, I want it to look like this. Let me go on a 1 hour. Gold, I'm looking for a move such like this. Back up into that area. Stops just below here. This is the move I'm looking for on gold tomorrow. What else am I looking at? US oil. I'm looking at this move here. See, at the moment price actually looks like it wants to create a double top, but I'm looking at this move here. If I can get a move like this, pull out the Fibonacci. See that we're at 50. If I can come back, if I can have price to come back here, I'm looking at a move like this. As supplies are cut, rally back up into this area, 1000 pip move. Stops just below structure here. We've got an area of support just below here, which lines up nicely with the 618. Let me just zoom in. Okay, so if price comes down into this area, I want it to wick as low as here. See the structure? I want my stop loss just to be below the structure here and this structure, so I want it somewhere around here. See this area here at 56. I'm placing my stops just at 56. 56. Risk 128 pips to potentially take home 1,100 pips. Massive risk to reward ratio, 9 to basically 9 to 1.5 to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. Euro USD, I'd like a continuation. The reason why I say that is because I'm expecting dollar weakness tomorrow. I do feel like we are going to get a continuation of these moves to the upside. So hold these trades to the upside unless I say otherwise. Watch out for this trend line. You can clearly see that's acting as price action resistance once, twice. It's at 1.18. If price action can't break this level at 1.18, then we could see a potential lower high and then a push lower. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this. What else have we got on the charts? Euro AUD still holding to the upside. We have had this pennant structure where price action now has broken out. You've got that inverted head and shoulder breakout, bullish engulfing. Look at this, is a beautiful trade. I'm looking to get in as soon as we get the Asian session opening. I'm already in some positions from down here. I'd like to get in with some more. Reason why I say that, let's look at this inverted head and shoulder, bullish engulfing. If you come into this area, go down to smaller time frame, half an hour. We've got that 1, 2, 3 morning star formation, break to the upside. We've had that pullback, bullish engulfing again, tweeze the bottoms here to the upside. Go back to the 15. Clearly look how many bottoms, double bottom. Price action is now breaking above the moving averages. We've got some sort of channel here as well. This is just smaller time frame analysis. I do feel like price action is ready to go. So I'm watching this area on a 15-minute time frame to see whether price action will break and go higher. And if it does, we could see, like I said, on a 4-hour, move back up into this region. Looking at the 4-hour closure, we can clearly see with that pin bar, it wants to go. It really wants to go. Looking at the daily closure, how it's going to close. Very bullish. It hasn't really engulfed the other candlestick though. Take that into consideration. Look. It hasn't really engulfed anything. Look, clearly. So it's really respecting that entire region. So I'm going to be monitoring it. It doesn't look great on a daily, but on a 4-hour, it does look good in terms of where price action is, using an area of support, an area of resistance, bottom to push back up. I do feel like price action was to go higher. So I'm watching to see what price action really does. I'd like to see a break to the upside potentially. If we do get a pullback, we could see a potential pullback into this area. So I am monitoring this really closely. If I see a break of that channel, I am going to be telling you guys to get out of this trade. But I do believe that it's going to hold. Got that 1 touch, 2 touch, double bottom. It does want to go. It really does want to go. I'm going to keep a very close eye on this channel here. It wants to go. It's going to break that to the upside. Watch. But apart from that, guys, I will catch you in the morning. Here's the evening call. Here's your breakdown. I'll see you later.